Sorry. Nice to see many of your faces whom I have seen so many years ago.
Right.
Meeting.
But we are meeting on a very sad occasion.
Sad occasion, yes. I know. I remember Jyotsna in the early days, so many years ago. I went to their house. We had a long chat.
Yeah.
I have very fond memories. So, Guru Raj, you managed to come back from
Yes,
Mysore? Okay.
Just came.
Oh, must be very tired. Where is Kalpana? Ask Kalpana to join, no?
She has joined, but I
Yeah.
think she's still mute.
Hello, sir. Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
I came in the evening. Hello, all.
Okay, okay.
Just for half an hour ago.
Hello, Kalpana, how are you?
No, she is not there.
Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You are muted, Kalpana.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yes.
Here, but we cannot see you.
Okay, yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So Gautam Dravid has also joined.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm very impressed at such a short notice, so many of us could get together.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the land.
Hi, Satish. Hi, Vivek.
I'm fine. How are you?
Hello, Kalpana.
Hi, Satish.
Arun is also there.
I'm fine.
Hi, Gautam.
Hi. Hello.
This is Gautam.
So Arti is also trying to get online. She just messaged me that
Hi, Arun.
she has never
Yeah.
used Arti Shetty.
Google Meet.
She's never used Google Meet, so she's trying to get online.
Manoj uncle, how are you?
Ankita is joined. Ankita, hello, Ankita.
How are you?
सतीश देसाई सर कैसे हैं आप?
I'm fine.
कितने साल हो गए देख के? Hi, Vivek. Hi, Gautam.
Vivek, hi.
Hello, Satish.
Hi,
Hi,
Nishikanta.
Nishikanta.
Hi, Jyotsna.
And Dr.
I could
Padma. Very nice. Very nice.
Very good.
Hello, Vivek.
Hello, Rishi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Fine.
Deepa Bharti has also joined.
Okay.
Hi, Deepa.
Hello, Dr. Deepa.
She must be muted probably. Yeah. Yeah, she has joined.
Dr. Alex is also said, I think. Yes.
Hello.
I thought.
Hello, Nishikanta. Hi. Hi.
Hello, Meta.
Welcome.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
I thought we'll wait for another 5 minutes. A lot of people are joining in, so. we will
Right.
start. Because totally 16 people are there.
Oh, that's good. With a short notice.
Yeah.
People will certainly come. I mean, I'm sure those who have heard about this will
Right.
definitely join for a short while at least.
I'm sure. No, he was such a fine human being, you know. And,
Absolutely.
So not only the students, but the people around him also
Yes,
Would like to join.
Yes. True.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Dr. Padma Shastri, I'm seeing after a while.
Padma Shastri also joined in. I don't
Yes,
know.
you have to unmute yourself, Dr. Shastri.
Uh,
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
hello, Padma.
Hello.
Hi, Padma. Yeah, it was really a shocking news for me to, to know about Dr. Ananda Rao's demise. It's really sad to know that. Hello, Gautam.
Hello.
I wouldn't have recognized you.
It's been a while. So many
Yeah,
years.
and Vivek also. I see Vivek also.
Yes,
Hi
yes.
Padma, this is Kalpana.
Hi, Kalpana. Hi, Kalpana. How are you? Hi,
Yeah, I'm good.
Nishigandha.
Hello, Dr. Shastri.
I know, so nice to see all familiar faces, but I hope it was a good occasion.
Yeah, I
We were
know.
waiting for the
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I will request is let Kalpana begin the day. And
student.
because she being his first PhD student,
Okay.
Right.
and we have the last PhD student
Last PhD
also.
student Gautam. Gautam is also there.
Yes.
Gautam, hi Gautam.
Hi, Kalpana.
So
Yeah.
I thought, and Satish Desai is the veteran among all of us.
Yeah.
Who has
Yes.
spent the
True.
maximum
Very
time
true.
with
I'm
Dr.
with
Sir.
sir.
Right, right.
And our heartfelt condolence to both Guru Raj and Jyotsana.
Really?
For us, we don't know how you are feeling, because especially Jyotsana was very, very close to him. I know that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, no, it's not easy to
Mhm.
because he was always concerned about Jyotsana. I used to remember what studies she should do. He used to discuss with me at length those days. Can you encourage, ask her what she wants to do? He was so much worried about her. I mean, I can't forget those days. So,
Relation between daughter and father
daughter
is
and
very
father,
special. We
very,
could
very,
see that
very
all the
special,
time.
very special. So.
And it's either
Yeah.
way. I've seen Jyotsna also talking about him in the same
I
way.
know. I mean, she and Guru both must be feeling the brunt of the sudden vacuum created. How was your mother taken it, Guru?
Oh, she is a mess, but she has to recover. What else? There's no option.
I know.
No, time is the only solution.
I
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt for a minute, please? I'm Dr. Manoj here, and I just want to tell you one thing. Anand Rao was my guru in a way, because I was doing my PhD in Ahmedabad and I was sent to Delhi for a training. Okay. And in that training, for the first 15 days, I stayed in some place called as Gujarat House. And after that, my study was over. So Anand Rao invited me to stay with him. And Anand Rao was my teacher who taught me all the nuances of research, actually. Okay. And when I went there, only Anand Rao and me were there. His wife had gone to someplace, Bangalore, I think, for the birth of sweetie, Jyotsna. And but before I left, Mrs. Anand Rao and Jyotsna came together, and that's how I first met Jyotsna, or sweetie. Okay, that's my beginning. I'm perhaps being the first student of not doing PhD, but at least a training with him. I learned typing with him.
I know. In fact, I think I'll ask Kalpana to begin. Is that okay? Or Satish? Who wants to do first?
I can go. How about Dr. Satish? You want me to take it ahead?
Carry on.
Slightly privileged, I guess, because I'm Dr. Rao's first PhD student, I guess.
Right.
So let me just start. I was actually deeply saddened when I got to know that Dr. Rao is no more. And at this occasion, I would like to first express my heartfelt condolences to his family and pray God that they should get strength to bear this huge loss. Let me just introduce. My name is Kalpana Joshi, and I was Dr. Rao's, I said, first student. Joined his lab at the Cancer Research Institute in November 1982, exactly 40 years back. Okay. It's a long time, long association. That time, Dr. Rao was very young, enthusiastic, and had just returned from his sabbatica, from Dr. Dexter's and Dr. Metcalf's lab. I should say that I was privileged, and also I must say that I was lucky also to got training under him, especially in the CFUC assay, what you call bone marrow, colony forming assay. Extensive training I got right from him, and he was young, and since I was his first PhD student, he always treated me like a colleague rather than a student. In fact. And every time, every bit of, whatever you are doing in the lab, he used to be with me. This AFUC assay training made us, in fact, entire, the team participated in first bone marrow transplantation at TMH by Dr., which was done by Dr. Advani, I must say that he was an excellent mentor, guide. Above all, he was a great human being, that's very, very important. He was so kind, and therefore, whenever he used to talk casually with us, he will always say that, Kalpana, being a researcher, we should always look for collaboration rather than competition. Okay, and this really helped me quite a lot, because truly we all scientists will understand the meaning of competition over collaboration, and obviously collaboration is much more productive. We all accept it. After I came back from my postdoctoral studies, everybody from CRI would like to join CRI back CRI. I had also applied in CRI. And first thing what he told me that, Kalpana, I'm not going to take you in my lab. Okay. If at all you have to be a part of CRI, you should be working under some other, mentor or a professor. It's just simply because you will always remain like my student, all throughout the life. Eventually, I got opportunity to work in pharma. And since then, I started my career in pharma. And last 30 years, I'm working in pharma. And today, I'm a principal consultant at pharma. I have several about Dr. Rao. Most importantly, I want to tell you that when he got at very young age, he got a heart attack. During that time, I was kind of, my last PhD work was going on, and there was a committee meeting also on that day when Dr. Rao got attacked. Within 3 to 4 days time, he started asking Dr. P that I want to sign Kalpana's thesis, Believe me, my thesis was signed in intensive care unit by Dr. Rao. Okay. So what else I can tell you? I really owe my research career to him. Whatever I could achieve today in science, it's all because of his teaching, I must say that I'm going to not just remember Dr. Rao, but I'm going to miss, Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kalpana, for sharing your personal moments and, and showing the big heart. Even in ICU, he wanted to sign your thesis. Speaks volume of the man, that he was more student-centric than self-centric. I think that's a very great quality, I must say. Can I hand over to Satish Desai now?
Right.
Kalpana, you may not remember me, but I met you outside the ICU.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Absolutely. And even in the ICU, he said that, Kalpana, do well in your viva, but obviously he was there for my viva. But the most important thing is that he could sign my thesis. And the last date of thesis submission was June 28th. And he knew it, So he kept on asking Dr. Gangal, Dr. Bise that I want to sign Kalpana's thesis, And then I was allowed to go in intensive care unit, and I could take his signature. And how can I forget those moments? And I have several other things to say, but today, because of the time, I won't be able to express all my feelings.
In fact, I must say, Professor Sohan Modak was very proud of Kalpana.
Yes, I was.
You
I'm
know,
Dr. Kalpana's
yeah, you know, because we were colleagues, so you know, one day, hey, tum Kalpana se nahi mile kya? You know that he felt that in my life I should meet Kalpana. So that speaks volume of what regard he had for you. You know, I mean, so I'm very glad that we are talking today. Can I request Satish Desai to speak now?
Yeah, I joined CI in 1972 with Sukumaran group, and there I was there. And then with Dr. Nayak, I did my MSc. And after that, Dr. Advised me to do PhD. I was at that time not that willing to do that. But then he was behind me to get registered for my PhD. And then everything happened. And I was lucky to be with Dr. Rao as a student, come staff. And worked for a long time. And my association with him was like a brother. But I'm lucky to that we have got good project in our hand, and we were working on the medical corpus stem cell biology as well as banking work. Everything was with me and Dr. Rao. We carried out all these things. I went abroad also to take training for work, and ultimately we joined Reliance, and then it was possible to establish India's first medical corporate there. And quite a long period. After that also, once we retired from CRI, still we meet once in a year, especially in the month of November. And this time also I talked to him that whenever we come to Bombay, we'll meet each other in my house only. And sorry. That was a very glorious period with him, working with him and getting a lot of knowledge in the biology, cell biology, especially in an umbilical cord blood area where I'm and he gave all the motivation go anywhere in the world to come for this subject and develop this work in our own country. And then also I was very lucky to be with him, and we together a glorious year of working together.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Satish. I know, your association has been nearly 50 years with him. So, I'm sure there are a lot of moments which come to your mind, because that relationship is always very, very special. I mean, I can appreciate why you are not able to speak, because you get choked, thinking about all those days, and he is not around. I fully appreciate that.
Right.
Now, can I? Yeah.
My partner to Josna and Mrs. Rao and Guru Raj, that God give them enough strength to build it.
Okay. Can I ask Vivek to speak now?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kannan. So there are many, many people here, whom I've had very close association with. Colleagues, seniors, teachers, and all of this was because of one man, and that was Dr. S. J. Rao. My introduction to him was actually because of Aarti. We lived in the same society, and he was or guide, and that was my introduction to the world of stem cell biology. The first time I met him in the cell biology division on the 6th floor of the annex building, he asked me, what do you know about stem cells? And I said, nothing. But I'm here, I'm reading a lot in the library. So he said, okay, read these books. There's a book by Digruchi, read that book, and you'll learn about cell biology. This was before I joined his lab. The lessons that my very first lesson in his lab, when I remember I just joined, and the lab was moving. It was 3 days old, and half the lab was still in the old cell biology division. We had moved to the new place. And he said, we were trying to move the tissue culture hood. And he said, the fellow is not coming. It's been more than 1 week. Let's do it. That was an attitude that I can never forget. If anyone else can't do it for you, do it yourself. And I remember, Dr. Rao, me, Arun, Satish, we kind of dismantled the hoods. We took it there, we assembled it without knowing anything about how to assemble a hood, thanks to his guidance. He never gave up. And he was such a humble man that at that time, he had got this 22 lakhs grant from the Department of Biotechnology. And it was a huge grant, and we got this cell illustrator. And none of us knew how to use it. He got the person who had invented this technology from Switzerland and said, come and teach us in our lab. And we need to learn about it. We did magnetic bead isolation. We were the first ones to do it in the country. And so he was always open to trying things. And he never gave up. It was never an answer that, this cannot be done here. That's something which he never liked to hear. If somebody else can do it somewhere else, so can we. Eventually, I realized the value of this training when I went for my postdoc. And the very first day of my postdoc, I was doing a CFU assay. Because when I went there and my mentor asked, can you do this? I said, yes. He took me to the microscope, showed me a couple of colonies. I could identify them correctly. He said, okay, you know how to do this, go ahead. And I've been fortunate to be associated with him throughout, ever since I've been his PhD student. And this association continued even when I was out of the country. I was able to come and meet him. I'm also, very, very fortunate that I met him last in June, just a few months ago. I was in Bangalore. I called him up. He said, if you want to meet me, you have to come to home, have breakfast with us. Gururaj had to come and pick me. I was lost somewhere. Gururaj came and picked me up. And I could spend about an hour with all of you. And that was really, really, I never thought at that time that, this will be our last meeting. The kind of person that he was, I think, even if he's not with us in flesh and blood, he will still continue to inspire all of us. He'll still be with us in our memories. And I don't think we can, I don't think he's gone away from me. He's still very much, he's still very much in my memories. And I'm sure that, he'll continue to be guiding me forever. Thank you.
Absolutely, Vivek. Very well said, Vivek. I completely agree with you.
Kalpana, can you take over and invite one by one people, first all his students, then the senior people, and I'll speak in the end, okay? Can you invite the next person?
I think Arti is there, who was...
No, Gautam is there. Who are all his students now?
Arti, Arun, Michelle.
Arun, Michelle.
Gautam.
So, Whomsoever you want, you invite Kalpana.
Yeah, Vivek, who should be the next one? I think Aarti is there, right?
Yes, Aarti.
Gautam is also there, I guess.
Yeah, Gautam is also there. Yes.
Gautam, you can go ahead.
I think most of his students are here. I could see Michelle, I could see Arun Devra. So maybe just one after another they can.
One after the, I think automatically you introduce yourself and start speaking.
Next,
just go to the next student serially, that so we won't miss anybody.
Correct. Kalpana, you can look at the number of people attending with their name will be appearing, that you will know immediately.
Okay.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
I can start.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can start.
Aarti, please start.
Please start, Aarti.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank
Yeah,
you.
we can't hear you, Aarti.
Wonderful to see everybody, though it's under extremely sad circumstances. My name is Aarti. I was Aarti Shetty, now Datta. I finished I was done with my PhD in 1990. So yes, that was a long time ago. And many of the others who've come after me, I don't think I even know most of them, except Vivek. Like he mentioned, we are neighbors back home in Mumbai. Vivek was the one who told me about Dr. Rao's demise, and I was extremely, for the rest of the day, I was just shocked completely. I remember when I was still there, probably was it in 86, 87 is when he had a serious cardiac issue, and he was out of commission for a few months. And so that was obviously the first thought, that it caught up with him at some point, they did give him a few good years. And Jyotsna, I'd met Jyotsna in New York when she was here for some time. I'm speechless, to be honest. There's just so much I want to say. Like Kalpana also mentioned, there's so much I want to say. But one of the first things I'll tell you is, while I was considering my postdoc, I was debating where to go, like all clueless students, right? Yes, hi Satish. Like all, everyone's debating where to go, what to do for postdoc, what's the next step. And I recall him telling me, because most of us were headed towards USA, right? But he planted the seed in my mind saying, Britishers teach you science, Americans teach you technology. So go to Britain, go to England. And at the time I was a rookie, I had no idea what he's talking about, but he's the one, he influenced me to go to London. He organized it. I ended up in London, and now having worked in London and in USA, that is so true. His words just ring true even so many years later. So such was the wisdom of this man. He was a man of few words, but my God, what depth. Each of his students will attest to that. Another thing I would say is his sense of humor. It understated, but it was always there. I recall that when an experiment did not go well, and you put your life, you put your heart and soul on something, and things don't work out like they sometimes do, like more often than not, they don't. And he would always be extra nice to you because you're already feeling like crap, that things just fell apart. And he would be extra nice to you than when things would go well. When things would go well, he would be like, okay, well, don't jump too much. You don't know what the next one's going to be like. And if things didn't go well, he would be so nice to you. And I remember once telling him that. I said, sir, you're so kind when things don't go well, and you're not that kind when things do go well. You'd say,
yeah, I know.
Get used to that. If you want to be in science, get used to things not going well more often than things going well. Obviously, we all understand that. My one regret, if I were to, this, which is what I was thinking all of yesterday, was the fact that I was not in touch with him in the recent past, in the very recent past. And one of the reasons was I actually quit science a while ago. Vivek knows that. I have been focused, life happened the way it did, and I am now more involved with teaching Indian classical dance. For a while, I was debating both fields, art and science, but now it had, in the last few years, I've been more into the Indian culture scene than the scientific scene here. And it was a decision which I know he would not have liked. And I did not dare tell him this. So that's one of the reasons it wasn't the plan, but I was not in touch with him as often as I wanted, which is a huge regret. It's something I'm going to have to live with forever, because now as a parent and as a parent of older kids, I think while he would not have approved, he might have at least understood it. We don't always approve of the choices that our kids make, but we understand them at some point. And I'm quite sure he would have been okay with that, with my choice. And that is a regret I'm going to have to live with forever. So Jyotsna, my heartfelt condolences to you, your mom, your brother. Dr. Rao is amongst us all the time, and you'll see this in the coming days. He's right there with you, right there with you. Thank you.
Aspi.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, sir. Aspi, yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Achha, I am Dr. Aspi Raimalwala. I am a consultant obstetrician and gynecologist practicing in Mumbai. Now, the word fails me, my dear madam, Jyotsna, Guru Raj, my wife and I send our heartfelt condolences to you for the passing away of our beloved sir. Satish, Vivek, I'm seeing you after a long time. Even Gautam, I remember you very well. Seeing you after a long time. But you would ask me since when I know sir. Now you can see my gray hair here, all of you. I know him since the time when I had no hair at all. So I was so young, only about 15, 16 years old, studying in Daman. And at that time, he was my lecturer when I was a student in pre-science and inter-science. Since then, I know him. So almost about 55 to 60 years, I know him. And since most of you, probably even the Vivek and Gautam, I don't know whether Satish was born about 60 years back or not.
Yeah.
Since then, I know him.
I was there.
He is one of the most brilliant and extraordinarily brilliant person I have ever come across in my life. He was down to earth. Whenever he used to visit Mumbai, he used to make sure that he meets me. And I also would make sure that I would meet him in spite of any busy schedule. I would go and meet him. He would come and meet me. When he was working in Tata Hospital, I know Satish had already finished PhD. And Vivek and Gautam were doing PhD, I distinctly remember. And Gautam was doing some research on stem cells and all. Vivek was also doing at that particular point of time. So I used to visit even Tata Hospital also quite frequently, maybe once in a week or so. And even to when I think if I'm not mistaken, when Gautam was writing a thesis also, then we used to just go through that and all. And the way he used to scrutinize the thing, the way he used to tell the things and all, it was something absolutely amazing. Now see, there is a saying that wearer only knows where the shoe pinches. A person who has lost his near and dear one only knows the grief and the pain which goes through. But I sometimes feel that this is part of the life. Today sir is gone. Tomorrow I will go. And all of you will go. You see the thing which you have left behind, the legacy. And this legacy which sir has left behind is going to last until the earth lasts probably. He was one of the most pioneer workers in the stem cells. Sir and I had devised the method of collection of stem cells when I was a registrar in Wadia Maternity Hospital. He used to come, he used to attend, we used to collect the cord blood from the placenta of a recently delivered and all. And we standardized the collection of stem cells. Myself and sir, we standardized at that particular point of time how to collect the thing, and Satish knows it very well. And then collection
Right.
of those ribs from the Tata Memorial Hospital to extract the same stem cells and all. It was something extraordinary, extraordinary. And Josna, I think probably I know her since the time he was born in Daman somewhere, when she must be about 1 or 2 years old. And Guru Raj also must be 3, 4, 5 years old at that particular point of time. Even I attended Josna's marriage also, and I see so many things. And if I start talking, I will go on keep on talking and all. But all said and done, everybody has to go. Sir is on. We have to enjoy the legacy which he has left behind. Grief, leave us a few days, we will feel bad about it. But a time will come and time will tell that what great service he has done to the humankind. Recently, very recently, somebody from Canada, my wife's cousin's daughter, granddaughter, she's suffering from Fanconi's anemia. Just now, recently, they have diagnosed. And I told them that one of the first stem cell transfer was done in a Fanconi's anemia. You understand? And that
88.
possibility, if that child survives today, is because of the people like Sir who has put their blood and sweat into this research. You understand? And believe me, when he has done this, the monetary thing was not even the last thing on his mind. It was almost like after Madam, he was married to his research. You understand? So anyway, my heartfelt condolences to Josna, Gururaj and Madam, and all the brilliant students of his like Vivek and Satish and Gautam. I don't know. I know Aarti. I've never met Aarti. I don't think so, or I don't remember, because now I am also now 72, 73. Now. So sometimes I may forget here and there and all. Okay. But whatever legacy he has left behind is going to last forever and forever. And the humanity, all the humanity will be very, very grateful to a great soul like this. Thank you so very much, Madam. Take care of yourself. Josna, Gururaj, take care of yourself. All, and all the very best for you to future. And now forget about it and just enjoy the things which he has done for the society and for his life. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Aspi. Yeah. Gautam, you want to speak?
Yeah, sure.
Unmute yourself. Yeah.
And my deepest condolences to Josna and Gururaj. Like Kalpana said, I was Sir's last student, and it's great to see Dr. Ramalwala here as well. I very clearly remember, the doctoral committee meetings we used to have, and I think Aarti said or Kalpana said, he was a man of few words, but I remember, I think at one doctoral meeting, Dr. Ramalwala was there, Dr. Barucha was there, and I think Dr. Gangal was on my doctoral committee. And for everybody who knows Dr. Gangal, you know how strict she is. So I think after that doctoral committee meeting, when we stepped out, he said to me something, I think he said, I think you did well. And when I heard those words, it meant to me that you really did well, because if you could answer what Dr. Gangal was asking, which is you really had prepared for that first doctoral committee meeting. But I think he was, so inspirational. Most importantly, I don't feel I would be sitting here with a PhD degree if not for him. Not going into too much details, I had some issues at Cancer Research Institute, and I wasn't sure whether I should continue my PhD or not, whether I should just leave my PhD and be only a master's degree holder. And I was still in his department, and he said, no, you hang on till we find a resolution for this. And it was a back and forth almost for 5 months, 6 months. He allowed me to, he said, you can stay with Vivek and Satish, and you can learn whatever you can. But it was a very, very difficult period. I was almost on the verge of quitting. And he says, no, you hang in there. And finally, almost he took me under his wings, and that's how I was his last student. He also gave me the opportunity to go with him to Reliance Life Sciences. I was working with him and Satish for the first year before I moved I went out for my postdoctoral studies. I also remember probably he was the most well-dressed persons I had seen. He used to be always so well-dressed. I clearly remember with his long shirt, long sleeve shirts. Every time he used to come to room 1208 to have coffee, you can have that image of a very, almost like that professor look on him, but a very, very well-dressed person. So, and like many people have said, most humble person I have ever seen, who knew so much. I was talking to Vivek yesterday. I was looking at gene therapy for beta thalassemia now being FDA approved. And I remember Dr. Rao talking about it in the 90s, how this is important for sickle cell and for beta thalassemia, and the beta globin, overexpression is so important. So just a visionary of knowing, and, given in India, maybe we didn't have all the facilities in there to, achieve everything in terms of clinical transplantations and stuff, but just the vision that he had was phenomenal. I work for Stem Cell Technologies. We developed an automated counter for the CFU, but I can never forget Sir's room with his microscope, with that small counter next to him, which had all the colonies marked. And he used to sit there and he used to count for us, and he used to teach us how to count. And I still remember the GMs and the GEMMs that he used to mark on there. So never can I forget, whatever I've learned. Like I was telling Vivek yesterday, everything I know about stem cell today is thanks to him, and just thanks to him for me even being a PhD student. So I can never thank him enough for that. Again, my deepest condolences, but like Dr. Raimalwala said, the legacy that he has left behind, what he has taught us, is going to stay with us forever. So again, my condolences, but what a wonderful human being. Thank you.
Thank you, Gautam. Can I go by this order? Ankita,
Michelle is there.
who is there? Arun is there, no?
Yeah.
Let Arun speak, yeah. Arun?
Arun is left, I think.
No, he's Arun is mute. Michelle is also there. Yeah.
No, he is open. Yeah. We can hear you, Arun. Yeah.
Hello.
Please go ahead, Arun. We can hear you.
Yes. Hi. My name is Arun Deora. I was a PhD student with Dr. Rao. And first of all, heartfelt condolences to his family.
Can you switch on your camera, please?
Josna
Can you switch on your camera? People would like to see how you look now.
Can you guys see me now?
No. You have just put a photo of yours. We want live.
No, we can't. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
now we
Now we know. How to
Yeah,
work.
now we can see. Yeah. Please. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I felt fortunate to join Dr. Rao as a PhD student. And things which come off the mind right now is that I was going through a rough patch in my personal life. And it was only Dr. Rao who held my hand, so to speak, and he led me the way. I was about to quit the PhD program, but he asked me to hang on, and he was totally supportive, a man of great vision, and never challenged the questions. Any simple question I had in my mind, he said, just go ahead and do it. I learned a lot from him, and I applied those techniques when I came here in the US 26 years ago. And that was the foundation rock kind of a thing, cornerstone in my career. And I'm really grateful for that. So I'll miss him. I was saddened by his news relayed to me by Vivek and Satish yesterday. And again, heartfelt condolences. He will be really missed. But I have fond memories of my relationship with Dr. Rao. So he'll be missed.
Yeah. Whom do you suggest next?
Michelle is there. Michelle will talk. Michelle, can you hear us?
Okay. Yeah, Michelle, please come over. Michelle Miranda.
Yeah. So Avijit has raised his hand.
Avijit is there. Avijit, maybe he can go.
Yeah.
If Michelle is not available.
Yeah.
I'm not able to unmute her, Michelle. Yeah, Mehta, why don't you speak, Mehta? Yeah.
Yes, yes. You know,
Oh, Michelle, yeah, Michelle, yeah, carry on. It is unmuted. 1 minute.
yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can.
Okay. Yeah. So all of you who have been seeking are all PhD students of Sir. But I had a very short stint with him. I was Dr. Fonke's student, and Dr. Fonke had a collaborative project with Dr. Bisay, and we used to visit the labs. I was the person who was with Dr. Joshi, standardizing flow cytometry, and we did a lot of flow cytometry on hematopoietic system.
That's right. Yeah.
But I really understood what was hematopoiesis only when interaction with Dr. Rao started. I think for me, my PhD work fell in place only because of my interactions with Dr. Rao. Because you see, our group was of physicists, very brilliant physicists who had gone into biology. So their way of thinking was a little different. So when I started interacting with Dr. Rao, with maybe must have had some 15, 20 meetings. But after every meeting, I went back with a very different approach to my own work. And I think I'm very grateful to him for. And one of the best things was, like somebody mentioned, all these senior people, whenever they came for meeting, they were never treated us as juniors. You know, we were at the meeting discussing the major project that was going on. And that was really education for me. Later, I think we also did some things which never got published now. I remember this cord blood, what he was taking. I did a lot of flow cytometry on frozen cord blood. So I think he was trying out a lot of things which didn't get published eventually. But it was very exciting because there was a direction to the work that I was doing. And I'm most thankful to Dr. Rao because I feel a major component of my scientific thinking was because of my interaction with him. Then when he came to HN with the Reliance people, I was teaching in Sophia and we were struggling to set up our lab. And I tried, and in fact, we tried, Dr. Rao also tried. We thought we could make a unit in Sophia. College of Life Science was a very active department. But it didn't work out because, you see, being an educational institution, there were a lot of kids there, and it was not a good idea to get samples from a hospital, and we required a lot of other issues were there. But that was my last visit to his lab, and that's the last time I saw him, and it is a very nice gentleman, a very nice human being. I can imagine how the family must be missing him. Condolences to the family. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Padma, you would like to speak? Unmute yourself, Padma.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you, Padma.
For those who may not know me, I am Padma Shastri, and I don't belong to CRI group. And my experiences with Dr. Ananda Rao has been something of a very different kind. And in 1990s, when I had joined NFATCC, the present NCCS, Dr. Ananda Rao was on our scientific advisory committee. And I have seen that experience not as a student, not as a colleague, not as a real friend, but a totally unbiased opinion about him. You know, the way he had a very nice way of talking to a person who is presenting the work. And I think that was the first time I was making a presentation, scientific advisory committee. So during lunchtime, he said, Padma, very good presentation. But you know, there could have been a little bit of modifications that you could have made in your presentation when you're presenting. He asked me, was it your first presentation? I told, yeah, it's the first SAC that I'm presenting. So you know, the way he came up with so gently, so humbly. And though I had known him before, I just said hello, hi to him. But professionally, that was the first time that, and he spoke very well. And he said, this is where you have to look into the not only look at the advantages of what your project is, but also look at the loopholes, look at what should be what could be troubleshooting for you, and see what the challenges and how you could meet them. Those are very, very important. And he was there for 2 or 3 years on our committee, and it was a great contribution. And it was real. I do not want to talk about what is the role of scientific advisory committees in our country. I don't want to touch upon that. But let me tell you, he was a real scientific advisor in that way and a complete fit for the committee member. And then I should also touch upon one more aspect is Vivek, Michelle, Gautam, and who else was it? One more person, I think. He came and told me when I became the flow cytometry in charge in 1997, I think. He called me up. I mean, I had never seen a mentor or a supervisor calling up and telling somebody, Padma, my students will be coming. They would be doing flow cytometry. Just see, help them. He could have just told me or just left a message or something. But he made it a point to call me up on our landline. And those days we did not have all these facilities. But then he would, when you say, how are the things going on? How is Gautam? How is Vivek's work? He would always ask me that. And the third aspect is totally different. Everybody has touched upon his humane nature. And I was new to cancer biology because I shifted from immunology to neuroimmunology to cancer biology, cancer biology or whatever, neuro-oncology. And being new to that field and new to ISER meetings, nobody cares for you when you're new and they don't know you. Myself and our late friend, Dr. Anjali Shiraz, we used to go to conferences not knowing many people, and sometimes accommodation was a problem. But even there, the way he used to support us, he would tell, Are bhai, kuch kar lo inke liye. See, the room is not good. Why don't you change it? They will share. Then they would say, no, sir. Are karo bhai, kuch to kar, sir. Delhi log hai aap. You should be able to do it. And the way he would get it done. And we were so happy when we could get the room. It was the first conference I and Anjali attended, I think. And we were so uncomfortable in the place with mosquitoes and torn sheets and all that. But he managed to get it done for us. And we really felt it was so nice of him to talk to the others. Nobody bothers much. We know how the conferences, when you go for the first few times, how it is. But that was really a great thing. And I will always remember him as a great person first, a great human being, a wonderful scientist. And one other point which I would like to make is, we were quite amazed to know, Dr. Ananda Rao has joined Ambani's group. And that was a time when we wouldn't hear about people from academics getting so easily fit into the commercial or the industries. See, now it is not a very big thing like academia to industry, but he did it. And when I met him once, I told him, so Dr. Ananda Rao, you are an industry person. Oh, yeah, what to do? You have to try everything out in life, That, the simple way of meeting challenges in life was something great about him. I know his people and his students who have been very close. I have not been in touch with him for several years, but I will still remember him as a wonderful human being, a great scientist, a great teacher also. And my heartfelt condolences to his family members and his near and dear ones. And we hope and pray that they all come out with their time as a period. They will slowly come out with it. But we will always cherish the great moments that each one of us spent with him at different periods of time. And Dr. Kannan, thank you so much. Like, you're the person who is organizing these meetings, which has given us a chance to talk about the people whom we love so much, whom we respect so much. Hats off to you for this great venture.
No,
thank you so much. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Padma. I think who else want to speak? Because at the end, I will speak. I would like
to say a few words.
Yeah. Anything? Please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. I'm in a little different way out in this whole crowd, but the fortunate thing is actually I know everyone because I was at such a place that I was not a student of Dr. Rao, not actually directly related with work, but still it was very special thing simply because I was a part of the cell biology, and cell biology society, cell biology department was such a department, that Dr. Bhise, Dr. Rao and Dr. Ghosh has built it up as a family. So we never felt that whether he's my guide or not, whether I'm connected to him for the work or not. Everyone used to interact very nicely. And I must say that the whole credit goes to all these three people, Dr. Bhise, Dr. Rao, and Dr. Ghosh. And about Dr. Ghosh and Dr. Rao, I mean, it's very difficult to say exactly how I learned from them. It just came through them, whether it's a science, whether it's asking questions in the journal club, because I used to organize journal club. I was given that responsibility. So he would always say, Nishiganda, whose journal club? Remember it? Don't forget. Small reminders he would give. If he realized that something is gone with somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, he would just peep in and ask in our room. We were sharing the lab, but the rooms were opposite to each other. So he would just peep in. Everything is all right? Fine. No problem. Don't worry. Anything that would go, he would assure people very kindly. And I still remember, like, most of the time I used to be working late, and he used to leave at around, I think, 7, if I'm not wrong, so that he would avoid all the crowd in the train. And I used to work in his room sometimes because it was a part of the lab also. So he would always every day ask me, you want my office? I'll keep it open. Don't forget to lock it, huh? Don't switch off the fridge. I was so careful about each and every small things. And that actually indirectly taught us lots of things from these three people. And I must say that it was really healthy environment. Forget about the kind of collaboration and other thing. What is very important and I appreciate about him is his human nature, taking everyone as our people. That was the most important thing. We never felt that, okay, Satish is from different group. No, we are cell biology people. I mean, all the students who are here, I think I know most of them because I was there as a student and then as a faculty. So I was fortunate enough to have interaction, and I had interaction with Dr. Rao also. And let me tell you, Josna and Gururaj, it's not that you have only lost your father, but it's stem cell banking of India has lost their father. He's the one who actually started it in India. I know the passion, the efforts he has put in. I have seen it maybe a little distantly than what Satish and Vivek has seen, but we have seen his inclination, his tireless efforts that he has put in the beginning of it. And I mean, that time probably we didn't understand. When he went to Reliance, people criticize that why is it so? Why one has to go from academy? Because in CRI itself, we had some examples when people had gone to industry, then returned back to academics. But then Dr. Rao did everything so smoothly, so effortlessly. And not only him, he took his students also. He took Satish, he took Vivek with him and trained them all. So this is the thing that I appreciate the most, that he worked as a group, not as an individual. Probably it was a kind of nature that generation had, but then we had direct examples which taught us all this. So I'm really thankful to him for all the things which directly or indirectly probably we had learned from him. And thank you very much, Josna, Gururaj, and Mrs. Rao. Kindly accept my heartfelt condolences. And I'm sure he is with us, and you are taking care of his baby, the company that you have started together. And he always used to describe that, okay, my daughter is very strong. And Josna lives to that. And I'm sure Gururaj also will live to that. So once again, please accept my condolences and my real thanks to Dr. Rao. May his soul rest in peace, and you all get courage to bear this loss. It's not his family limited to 3 of you, but all of us who are here in some way or the other connected and a part of his huge family that he has established in his journey in this world. Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to talk, Dr. Kannan.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Yeah. I'm so happy all of you came. Michelle, you would like to speak?
Yes, thank you so much. I apologize for not being able to respond when you called for me. Unfortunately, the part of the memorial overlapped with the meeting that I'm in at work.
Okay.
So I was trying to deal with different things. So thank you for being patient with me, and I'm happy to share my memories of Dr. Rao. He was truly inspirational. The calming force, I think I would say, and Arun, Satish, Nishiganda, Dr. Kalpana Joshi as well, and Gautam. Everyone who knows me knows that I was quite the passionate, uncontrollable person in the group, in the department, always speaking my mind, running around from pillar to post, not having any patience, but you know how what an influence Dr. Rao could be on that kind of person. He helped calm me down. He helped me understand things. So it's keep the passion, but also, give in to logic and reasoning and look at things with a more logical or rational point of view. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Rao really for taking me on as a PhD student. I'm sure I was quite a different cut from the ones that he's had before. He was very patient with me. He was very good to me, very always listened. And I will forever think of him always either ending or starting every sentence with a I say. I say, he used to say, I say, we must do this. I say, we must do that. So that will always be in my mind when I think of Dr. Rao. And, he was truly a gentle soul. He never took any side in an argument. He always tried to present reason to both parties. So he was always that kind of calming influence. He was a great head of department. He was a great support to each one of us. And, he formed a team of PhD students that really got along well together, that learned from each other, supported each other. So he created that kind of environment of learning and trust and depending on each other that was probably unique within Cancer Research Institute. I also remember when he gave me the opportunity to go to Brazil and present some of our research. He was supposed to go there and speak, but something had come up and he was unable to go. And he gave me that opportunity. He said, Michelle, if you're able to arrange for it, I will support you in going to Brazil. And it happened. He made that happen. So I'm very grateful as a PhD student to be able to have that opportunity to speak at an international conference. A small segment, of course, but nonetheless, it was a great opportunity. And Dr. Rao was the kind that wasn't egotistical or thinking that, okay, if I can't go, I won't let anybody else. I mean, any of my students go either. They're not ready for it. He wanted us to be challenged. He wanted us to rise above what we thought we could do. And, whatever fears or insecurities we have, he had his way of helping us deal with it by saying, I believe in you. I know you can do it. And it should not be difficult for you at all. So he's the calming influence really for me in my PhD years and those formative years. And I'll always be grateful to him for that. And although I'm not in the academic situation contributing to the forefront of research, I hope I'm still doing my part in his honor in terms of I continue to work in oncology at Merck & Company where I am. Not in research, but in strategic planning. But I certainly know what's going on in the research world and the developments and the progress that we made. And I think it really speaks a lot and helps me empathize with the work that people do in terms of research, the difficulties in the heart and the obstacles that they face, whether in terms of getting grants, whether in terms of just getting published, and all those barriers and hurdles. But knowing that, Dr. Rao has inspired so many people, whatever walks of life they may be in now, having started there with him in a research setting, I think we'll go far. And he'll be always, always in our minds and our memories and in our prayers. So my condolences to Mrs. Rao, Jyotsna, and Guru Raj, and of course to this community here on this call, everyone who could be here and those who couldn't, who remember him, who will miss him in many ways, big and small.
Yeah. Can I request Avijit? Thank you, Michelle. Avijit Manik.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Thank you. Probably I am the youngest among the lot here, and out of many of you here, probably I could see him closely. The entrepreneurial side of Dr. Rao, more than anybody else, I would believe. And when I say so, I mean, those are the early days of my, academic career. When immediately finishing my master's, I joined Cryo Stem Cell Karnataka and Sri Raghavendra Biotechnology, where he was running his research lab, the operational facility in Jakur at the basement. And I would like to share one instance, and probably the first instance with him, which completely grounded me. And I believe.
Yeah, yeah. Abhijit, yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah. So, I mean, that was my first encounter with Dr. Rao. And before I say that, probably more than an academician, more than an entrepreneur, I believe he was a great mentor than anything else. And that's why probably not being his PhD student, still he could, touch me, touch me so deeply. So like I would, go back to 2005, when I just completed my master's from Bengaluru University. That's when I got, acquainted with the Raghavendra Biotechnology, when they were having probably the second or third annual conference of STEM. And it was in association with the Dayanand Sagar College in Bangalore. And I was a MSc student during that time. So I was very keen in the subject before even being acquainted with SRB. But when they approached our college that okay, they are going to do a conference and they are throwing a competition open for an essay writing competition on stem cell applications, I just jumped into that opportunity. And what was the catch? That the first 3 persons will be taken into the company and given a training for 2 weeks free of cost. And literally elated, because during those days, being in master's program, we rarely used to get those kind of opportunities where you can just deal with real-time cells in the laboratory under the microscope or in a cell culture incubator. So I took my shot and I got the first prize in that one. And that's when I just communicated with Dr. Joshma and Dr. Rao, and I said, sir, can you please hold on, because I am in middle of my master's program. I don't want to go now. I only after finishing my master's I want to. And he was very amicable to accept to that condition. He said, okay, fine, no problem, hold on to it. So after finishing my master's, I went there. And when I saw, probably for the first time, the stem cells growing in the culture dish, then the colony forming assay, probably those are all very familiar to you more than me. But those were so fascinating, trust me, being a rookie master's student from Bangalore University, where we hardly knew how the research is carried out. I completely hooked into that. And after finishing, it just, with a snap, that took a couple of weeks just passed by. And I got so inspired by that. And with his mentorship, by the time I left after 2 weeks, I requested, sir, I am really interested to continue. Can you please give me an offer for 2 more weeks? I am even ready to pay. So he said, okay, let me think about it. I will call you back. So I was a little nervous. I was thinking what to do, because just after finishing my master's, I was thinking that, okay, should I get into a research? Should I get into an industry? And after a couple of days, I received a call. And it was Dr. Rao. And he said, Abhijit, the person who was working with me from Hyderabad, he is unfortunately leaving. And will you be able to take that position? And I was a little numb. I mean, I didn't know how to respond to that. He said upfront that I can only pay you 5,000 rupees. And I said, sir, I am ready. Tell me from when I can come. He said, you can come from Monday. And I believe that was Wednesday or something. I said, sir, I'll come from tomorrow. And that's my journey started with him. And within a matter of 1 year, probably he looked, or maybe because he was a great mentor, he found that this boy might be having that zeal and spark to learn. We have developed many more programs with Dr. Rao and with Dr. Josna. I used to visit many colleges and different universities to give some lectures and bring in the students for the training programs. It was a great moment for me, and I said, sir, I want to do a PhD. He tried for me, but eventually I had to leave that. And I had to go to another university for that. But being said so, why I had to carry this out, all these things, because you see today, I am attending this meeting from Shillong. Actually, I came here for attending the annual Academy Neuroscience Conference, being a faculty in India. So it's from 2008 to now, after finishing my training in SRB and graft stem cell, I went on to get my PhD from PGI. I went outside India for almost 6 years of postdoctoral position training, and then finally this year I came back. The only guilt what I will have in my life is that I thought that after coming to India, I would like to visit him in person and seek his blessings that, sir, I have started my independent academic career here, which was probably not supposed to be. But other than that, that's what I said, that probably more than anything else, he was a great mentor. He touched upon so many lives, including me. And I would like to just, stop by saying that even, this morning, he appeared in my dream. I'm still getting my goosebumps, you see. I can simply just recall that I was lying down on my bed. I saw Dr. Rao, coming into my room with a trolley, and there are so many cell culture dishes on top of the trolley. And after reaching to my room, he was, putting those culture dishes from the trolley to a shelf. And I just immediately jumped out of my bed and I started, putting my hands together. And he said that, are you sure you can do it? I said, yes, sir. Don't worry, I can do it. So then what he did is like he went and lied down to my position in the bed. And he said, I still remember that, Vijit, always follow to your president or director. I don't remember exactly. That's what he said. And, I just, opened my eyes, and in the morning I thought like that much he was deeply embedded in our thought, that he was so close. He was so close to me, probably one of the best mentors in my life. So being said so, I would like to, convey my condolence to all the family members, Dr. Josna, Dr. Guru Raj, and ma'am. But at the same time, probably as it is rightly said, that I understand this is the time of the grief, but in an overall goal, we should celebrate the legacy what he has left behind. We have a lot more to do, being responsible in the field of stem cell biology, and maybe the mankinds are looking at us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Avijit. I think you rightly said we are actually celebrating his life than a condolence meeting. I totally agree with you. Since it's dating lot, I thought I'll quickly put across what I've been wanting to say, why I was so excited to have this. I was teaching in Pune University at that time, and Dr. Bise had invited me to give a talk in CRI. So that time I gave a talk on, how does the cell know which protein to degrade when? It was an unsolved problem at that time. So I presented and I said, look, I want to see the effect of ubiquitin. I've been studying in Pune University, the chick embryo, how it affects ubiquitin, but there were no great supporters there. So I said the results were too complicated. So he said, oh, but don't worry, I have a very nice system. I do hematopoiesis. So that's the first time I heard the word hematopoiesis. So I said, Dad, your assays look very simple. I mean, it looks more like a chemist way of working, but I'm basically a protein chemist, and I'm not a cell biologist, to be very honest. But for Ananda Rao telling me, Kannan, if you can give me the antibody against ubiquitin, I will, we can collaborate. And that's how it started when I was in Pune. So I said, okay, my next job should be to find how to make the antibody. And luckily, I went as director of a diagnostic company. And along with me moved my student, Keiko, whom many of you know, Kaiku Shruparak, who did most of the work. So it took us 2 years to produce antibody against ubiquitin. It was one of the toughest molecules to produce antibodies. So after 2 years, I rang him up, Dr. Rao, antibody is ready. Are you still interested? Yeah, come over. So that's how our journey started. And you won't believe, I would never entered hematology ever in my life, without Dr. Rao coming in. And all the experiments were done by Keku, but I quite understood. And suddenly I learned Till and Matlock's assay and, what is Metcalf doing. And, for me, so I went and bought the Williams hematology textbook those days. It was a very expensive book. I remember I paid something like 1,800 rupees in Surat to buy that book. And I said, no, yeah, if I have to talk to this man, I better be up to date. And then when I met him next time, I started blabbering things. And I said, look, I think this is a very exciting problem to work on. And I want to know whether ubiquitin is involved in this or not. Unfortunately, at that time, Dr. Rao was a bit obsessed with this RGD peptide. You know, this is what happens to some people, that we had a data, and he didn't believe that ubiquitin could do that, because we showed 80% inhibition of binding to bone marrow and 58% to spleen. No other person in the world has ever demonstrated that. So it was a path-breaking work. Somehow, Dr. Rao, being a typical cell biologist, he probably didn't appreciate what I was trying to tell him, because I was a hardcore protein chemist. So for me, RGD peptide was something like any other peptide. Didn't make any, I said, there's too smaller sequence to be worried about. There'll be so many others. So, but then, he was so hung on it, because Britishers, as somebody said, he's very fond of Britishers. Britishers have a lot of hang-ups on something, then they push it too hard. So he was so sold on it. So when we got the result, he published in his own way. And I said, okay, I will do further work. And we published in British Journal of Hematology. So the British Journal of Hematology at that time was came for review. He said, can you repeat the experiment? And now doing this Till and Metcalf assay means another 3 months gone. So I called up Rao. I'm so sorry to disturb you again. They want me to repeat all these experiments because they're not able to believe the results. Because I got 73% inhibition first time in bone marrow and 53% in the spleen, which was never heard of at that time, and ubiquitin playing this part. And so we repeated, and after 3 months, it was so nice, I must say. So we got a result of 78% inhibition. So I wrote to the journal, say we repeated, but now we are getting 78%, not what we got earlier. Immediately the paper got accepted. Okay, and at that time, it was a very big thing, and I felt so bad because there was a problem which Dr. Ananda Rao had in his institution, because his director was not a great supporter of him. I shouldn't mention who was the director at that time in the mid-80s. So what happened was, collaboration with the industry, the director didn't like, because I was in the industry. So we had to work together clandestinely. Like if Keku goes to the lab, he can't leave till the director has left for his house. Because if he catches him, he will say, so poor Keku, I remember, he couldn't even step out to go to the bathroom because the director was around. I can tell you that really it happened. And Ananda Rao felt so bad about it, but he was also helpless, because if we are caught doing this work, poor Keku will be thrown out of the lab. So poor man defense. That's why I'm saying I owe him so much, because that result was so important. And first time we explained the mechanism of bone marrow transplantation at that time, homing and adhesion. And we also showed that ubiquitin binds to hematopoietic stem cells. You don't need an antibody. So they were all very path-breaking work when I look back. Then in 2004, when ubiquitin Nobel Prize was shortlisted, our paper was shortlisted. So I was just remembered that if all this would never have happened without I meeting Dr. Ananda Rao. Only thing I regret is I wish both of us were in the same place and collaborated. Probably would have done a lot of path-breaking research in that field, because we were the first to show extracellular role for ubiquitin in the world at that time. Everybody talks about intracellular role, and today extracellular role is the hottest. And the hottest area today, as you know, is, trying to hook ubiquitin, what they call the PROTAC technology. And we used to teach to students all this. Plus, when I wrote the first CBSE book for biotechnology, which I introduced in 2002, you will be very amused to know I introduced stem cells and hematopoiesis for the students. And I said biotechnology grew only because of this molecule called erythropoietin, which was the blockbuster drug. So if you are a biotechnology student and if you don't know erythropoietin, you are not worthy of getting a degree in biotech. I was very, very clear about it. Next was GCSF. GMCSF, these are all the blockbuster molecules as far as I am concerned. And that is what gave biotechnology a growth. So what I'm trying to say is, because I met Ananda Rao, my whole direction of looking at cell biology totally changed. I never believed in cell biology. I'm a hardcore chemist to begin with, but his association turned me totally differently. That when I joined Ranbaxy as general manager, I remember, he said, Sujata Kale, can you give her a job? I said, please join. I gave her a letter, but only thing, she didn't have the patience to stay on in Delhi for very long. But we'd have built a good group. I remember Ananda Rao came and spent time with me. I wanted that we collaborate more. But then, those days, industry was also very strange because they were more interested in bulk drugs and formulations. Cell-based therapeutics didn't exist in the mind in the 80s. In the 90s, I mean, in the Indian industrial. Today, everybody is talking about CAR T cell. I can tell you 90s, I never saw, even though I talked about this thing, and I still remember when Business India, I was interviewed, there was a one-page write-up on me. In the last side, I said, only other man who talks this subject is only Dr. Ananda Rao of CRI. And I said, we both have been talking about cord blood banking way back in the early 90s, 91, 92. And he was so touched, Kannan, you are so nice to even mention my name. I said, no, you are the first man who introduced me. Without you, what am I talking? I said, only other person who knows the subject is him. So for me, Dr. Ananda Rao has been like an elder brother, a friend, a mentor, and with whom I could argue to any extent. And I just spoke to him about 2 months back over phone. I was in IIT Guwahati, and we were talking, how is cord blood banking going on in India? I was there, and we talked for about half an hour. So what I'm saying is, our relationship continued all along till recently, and I'm really going to miss a great friend. But I can tell you, every school student who read our book in school knows hematopoiesis. So that is my minimum contribution I could make to make Ananda Rao feel happy that, this is most important. Because no biotechnology course ever teaches that the first products in biotech came out of hematopoiesis. And it's very unfortunate that many people do. Everybody talks of recombinant DNA and all that. But I think the blockbuster drugs were erythropoietin, GCSF, in the 90s. And I think Ananda Rao was a loner. Nobody appreciated probably in CRI his worth, which I always regret, but then this is how India is. But I'm very happy we could all cherish the great man and the way he pursued. And my heartfelt condolence to Jyotsna and Gururaj and your mother. And I hope, you have the strength to get along. Now, I want the family to say a few words because Jyotsna, I think Jyotsna and Guru would like to hear a bit your personal feelings about your father. I know it's a very difficult time to speak, but if you'll say 1 or 2 words, or Guru, why don't you begin? Unmute yourself.
First of all, I would really like to thank you all for joining here, gathering here in this big family of his. Honestly, I mean, it is a big family. I mean, we never really realized, but we always knew. Of course, I was too young when he was actively in CRI, and by the time I grew up, he had almost come to the end of his CRI career. And but I always would hear about you guys, Desai sir, Vivek. I would, as I said, of course we were part of them. It was in our everyday life. CRI was in our everyday life. But he would never mix his work life with his family life. When he came home, he would not sit and, he would put all his attention with us. I would only see him as a father. I would only see him as dad. He would, only the 2 Saturdays he would have in a month when he would stay at home, because Saturdays or holidays, 1 or 2 days, 1 month, he would let me just sit on his head and, pluck the white hairs off his head, because that was that was my joy, because I could just spend time with him. But he left with a full head of hair, which I don't have that gene, but he left with a full head of hair. And till the very end, he always wanted to do something. That is, even day before yesterday, he told me, Raja, you do something, be decisive, do it. Don't keep thinking, just do. And that's how he's been all his life. And that's what we have heard with you guys tell me. He just did. And whatever he tried, he would do it and if it worked, it worked. It didn't work, it didn't work, but he tried. And after, last 20 years after he has retired from his active scientific career, as Abhijit says, he has built another, huge enterprise. We have this SRMT, which he started, which is one of the oldest societies for stem cells in India. Yeah, he started 2 companies. He started a foundation because he wanted to help people, PhD students. He wanted to help. Finally, when I came back from the US, because at that time he said, why don't you come back and take over, help me out, because I have started something here and it's just going to go waste if nobody's there to take care of it, along with Sweetie. Then over the years, he slowly got into herbal research, and in the last 5 years he actually created herbal formulations, and we have a company which has 3 Ayush products and 2 FSSAI products in the herbal space, which is entirely created by him. He even created a cartoon character called Chandrachuha, which is the official mascot for the STEM Foundation. And he has created a series of stories around it. So, Gopal Pandey sir is not here, but he has included him in one of those stories. I remember I've read. But it is, he has led a very successful life. We have, obviously, I regret not being able to do enough. I don't know, maybe the last 2 months he was sick. I always feel that maybe we could have done something more. I always feel that maybe we missed out something. But I'm happy that at least for his 80th birthday, we could have celebrated his 80th, and he had his students and his colleagues and everyone, talk about it. And he really enjoyed that, when all the videos which had come in. And he used to tell me in the last few months, he says, yeah, I'm 80 years, I've lived 81 now. I've done everything. I don't have anything else I want to do. I said, Anna, I used to call him Anna. I used to say, Anna, Illa, you have to stay. It's not like that. He said, what? I have completed whatever I wanted to do. And he has not left any, threads undone. He has tied it. He has made sure. He used to tell me, see, I have done this. I have made my will. He showed me. He said, see, I have done everything. I allocated this. He has nominations and everything. Even in the last, just day before yesterday, because it was the first December had started. Every December, every month, first thing he will say, Raja, checkbook. I want to write the checks, salaries. What is there? What do I have to pay? He sat down and he signed the checks. He said, no, Raja, I'm not able to do this anymore. You have to take over this part. I can't sign. And then he signed he signed 5 checks. The 5th check, he could barely sign. He said, no, I can't even hold it. it's tightly. So it's time for you to take it. And then yesterday, when the day he passed away, he was not well all day. All day he was on bed. He was not doing well because his heart was racing. And I don't know, maybe he had low BP. I don't know what, because the medications we had given him, but he was feeling disoriented. And then someone had come home, so they made him sit up, and he was sitting. I had gone out. Me and Sweetie had gone out for something. We came back, and he was sitting on the bed, on the chair, and we started giving him some glucose because he was so tired. He was so weak, and he had not eaten well in the past few days. He had not eaten, actually. He had barely eaten anything. And we said, see, glucose, at least you can take, at least to take glucose. He said, okay, 1 spoon, 2 spoons, 3 spoons. That's all. And then Sweetie said, why don't you give him some powder, and then some glucose powder. So in the evening, just about an hour before he went, we tried again. And then she said, try the glucose thing. We had it last time. So I went and I gave him a spoon of glucose powder, and unfortunately he coughed, and then it kind of spluttered out. So he said, no, this is the sign. This is my sign to go, because my grandfather passed away just like that. He said, Appa went like that. We gave him some kheer the day of Deepavali, we gave my grandfather some kheer, and then he passed away immediately. He said, see, this is what happened to him. So this is my sign to go. Time to go. And an hour later, he had gone.
I know.
So yeah, he's done so much. I mean, I can't even imagine filling his shoes. I mean, I'm going to drown in it. So, but I mean, knowing that you all are there behind him, he has this huge family across the globe, gives me some courage, and it really, I was devastated today. I went and put his ashes in the river, and Sweetie kept telling me in the evening, see, please, you have to focus on what his legacy is. We have to do it. I couldn't think straight. And after listening to you guys, I mean, you have been a big help. Honestly, thank you. Because I can see what he has done in his life. A lot more than what I saw him as a dad. Because I mean, Sweetie knows him as a research scientist a lot more than I did, because the last 10 years I have been with him closely, but you guys know him much more than that. And what you have brought forth has given me a lot of solace. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. I know Jyotsana is in no state of mind to say anything. It's okay, Jyotsana. I think we all appreciate what you're going through, and I must thank everybody for joining in at such a short notice. And Kalpana, thank you for communicating with everybody. I think it was very nice, and I must say, Ullas Wagh was very fond of your father, and Ramesh Bonde, who was Ullas Wagh's first PhD student, even today he called me, I'm stuck up in a meeting, please tell them I won't be able to join, but I want to see the recording, I said, certainly I'll share. So all of you, if you can either send your email to Kalpana so that she can send me this thing, if I can send the video recordings to all of you. Okay, those who are, because many of your friends may not have been able to attend, so they also would like to know how the hear about him and what is the feeling. So,
I just have a few words to tell about my dad. I spent the last 20 years of my life with him. And although I was a trained cell biologist like him, when I came back from the US, I was completely clueless. I had no idea what I was doing in my life. I was going through a horrible personal crisis myself. And the only piece of advice he gave me was, I'm your dad and I understand the problems you're going through. You can keep crying all your life and as long as I'm there, I'll help you out. But then there'll be nobody to hear you. The other alternative is to get up and start working and learn and push yourself ahead and do what you're meant to be. And I blindly took that advice because I had no other choice, because I was very famous to always keep fighting, and I was quite a wild one when I was growing up. But he had a special knack in taming me, teaching me my responsibilities, and he's given me a lot. Every breath I take, I remember him. And I thank him for all that he's given me. And I'm grateful that he has such a huge legacy, which probably will help us move forward, Raja and me. I'm sure everybody else is behind us. And we'll take it to the next level. That's a promise. And I hope, we can continue and grow his name further. I just want my mom to see all of you, and if required, if she's able to talk to you guys, just give it to you. Just say hello. Say hello to everybody. Hello. I'm not in a position to talk. I'm not in a position. I can't. Thank you all so much.
No. Yeah, I appreciate it. Padma, you wanted to say something? Yeah. You unmute yourself. Unmute. Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Kannan, while our condolences to the family members are there, I think Dr. Ananda Rao had a much larger extended family throughout the world, in India and abroad also. And lastly, I would like to thank you on behalf of all of us for bringing us together on this platform. I really appreciate the work that you are doing in this case, whether it's Dr. Ullaswag or whether it's Dr. Ananda Rao, whoever it is. You have taken such active participation, bringing us together and helping us to convey our feelings to the family and to many of the friends. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Kannan.
See, I owe him so much. This is the least I could do, because whatever I became in my life, he was a very key person in my life who changed my life. So I owe him much more than ever.
Hats off to you.
I must admit. Satish, you want to say something? Yeah. Unmute. Satish, unmute yourself. Could you unmute, Satish? Unmute yourself, Satish. Please unmute. Unmute. Unmute yourself. Press that tab. I think Satish is not able to locate, I think.
Satish sir, please see there is a microphone icon below your screen. Just click on that.
I'm not able to unmute him, unfortunately.
No, I think he has to do it from his side.
Okay. I think if he's struggling to get online, I think thank you all for making it possible.
Thank you so much.
And we wish the family all the strength, and we look forward to whatever way we can do. we can plan something in his honor sometime, so that we can arrange some memorial lecture every year or something. So,
Sure.
so that a very nice way to remember. I always felt we scientists remain unsung all the time.
Yes, sure. Absolutely correct.
And we as a community have to rise to the occasion and do it.
Very,
So
very true. Very
I suggest that.
well said.
So Kalpana, I suggest work out.
Yeah,
we can
sure.
create some forum to do that.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you and
Yeah, we can.
good night.
SRMT,
Thank you
as
very
you know,
much.
we have
Thank you.
SRMT
Thank you,
meetings
Guru.
every year we used to have.
Yeah.
And we used to have Dr. Habibullah's memorial lecture. Dr. Rao, my dad only wanted to have him when after Dr. Habibullah passed away. And I'm sure we can have a memorial for him as well. We are hoping to have the next STEM meeting in January. So we will. Definitely we can organize.
That will be nice. Sure. Yeah.
That will be very nice. Yeah. Satish, you wanted to say something? You are unmuted, no?
No, thanks for everything that we met in this occasion. But we remember his work throughout our life and carry life like that.
Yes.
And it was good that we all can see after a long time Dr. Asfi Remanwala. Bye-bye.
Sure.
Bye-bye. Yeah.
Good to see everyone.
Yeah.
Jyotsna and
We
Guru, thank you all.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Kannan.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.